Stream. Bloody hell. So Man United salvage, a last minute draw against Bournemouth away from home. Obviously I think that point now moves United up to 14th, which, isn't too isn't really good, let's be honest, but yeah, I mean, this season, I just hope the season ends, man. Yeah, big up Reluctant Gamer, man. Big up, bro, for coming on. This season for me just needs to end. Yeah, bro, man. Last minute goal. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not even happy, really. I think that this season has been an absolute disgrace. And Man United keep doing this. They keep doing this whenever they go down, whenever the opposition go down to 10 men. Big up, Will. Whenever the opposition go down to 10 men, United always seem to get a goal back. It's happened a few times. You look at the Real Sociedad game, man sent off, they got a goal. Well, they got a few goals, should I say? And I think there might have been a few other times this season as well, but I can't remember the games. But yeah, man. I mean, first and foremost, let's start off with the manager, his team selection. Again, I wouldn't have played Mazraoui. As I said, Mazraoui is going to be playing up against Nico Williams. You would think on Thursday, and I think the best preparation for Mazraoui would have been to rest him completely. And I know he came off, but I think there was other players that could have been rested. Well, I think there's other players that could have come in for Mazraoui. The fact that he started Mazraoui, again, I wasn't really happy because up against Nico Williams, it's going to be a real test, Big up to DXR. It's over for Amorim. Bro, I've been done with Amorim for a little while now, You're saying he'll be gone by December. I think if Ineos have got anything about themselves, they just pull the plug on him at the end of the season if he doesn't win Europa League. I don't even want to see him next season, man. I've had enough. The kind of players that he keeps playing, which we're gonna get into, is baffling, man. It's absolutely baffling. But yeah, big up Gamer, bro. We're gonna talk about the Eubank Junior fight afterwards, man. But as I said, man, this manager is he's frustrating, man. I mean, as I said, Mazraoui shouldn't have started for me. Luke Shaw, I could see that, and obviously Luke Shaw played 90 minutes. Why he continues to keep playing Kobe Minu as a six is ridiculous. Kobe Minu needs to be playing further forward, but he keeps on playing him as a six. And again, Bournemouth have got a very high press, a lot of energy in their midfield. And between Kobe and Casemiro, they're not the most press resistant players in the world, And he continues to play Kobe in that area. And again, Kobe comes off. Front three of Garnacho, Rasmus, and Bruno. Again, we all know this is never going to work. You've got Cheeto on the bench that, again, Cheeto made like a little cameo when he come on the pitch. And Cheeto can't play Europa, and yet this manager still plays Rasmus. And I know Rasmus got the goal in the end, but again, it was another poor performance from Rasmus. And as I said, where this referee got 9 minutes from, United have to count themselves very fortunate. And as I said, yeah, it was just another shit show of a game, man. It was poor. I can't actually tell you who actually played well for United. I don't think no one really come through that game as a standout. I'm seeing Patrick Dorgu now getting criticised, which isn't surprising me because we all know what happens in this fan base. The same old scapegoats are always the same players. And for me, that pass that Luke Shaw played to Patrick Dorgu was poor. I mean, Luke Shaw experienced at the back there, and you're going to play the ball to a player who's got a player running down on him, can't see what's behind him. And credit to Dorgu, obviously trying to play his way out of trouble, but his inexperience there will just tell him, to just either play it down the line or at least go back to Luke Shaw so he can clear it. But he tries to turn on the ball, and then again the goal comes from there. So yeah, man, it's just a load of nonsense. This team, man, and this manager, as I said, he has to take a lot of criticism in terms of how this team sets up. Because let's be honest, if there was no 9 minutes of added time, if Bournemouth didn't get anyone sent off, then United don't win this game. And again, that would have been 16 losses. And again, the 9 minutes, I'm not quite sure where this come from, but United get away with it, And again, I'm a Man United fan, but I don't take any satisfaction in these little wins, because I look at the bigger picture. And if United play like this against Athletic Bilbao, it's going to be a good night, man, especially away from home. And I reckon that if this same performance is put in against Athletic Bilbao, this tie could be all over by the time it reaches the second leg. Because, again, they were never beating Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth were down to 10 men. I think, including stoppage time, I think it might have been something like 29 minutes. I think Evan Nilsson got sent off on the 70th minute. So, to play 29 minutes with 10 men, is mad. And again, United were always going to try and press home the pressure, because again, they're in a situation right now where they could finish as low as 17th. So them getting the point again, is it going to be a good morale boost going into the second leg? I don't think so, because again, that's against 10 men, and United keep doing this against 10 men. And I believe Athletic Bilbao, they're going to be a tough opposition. And the majority of the team, again, that played today, you'd expect them to play against Athletic Bilbao in the second leg. I mean in the first leg, because I'm looking at possibly Ugarte, because I reckon Luke Shaw probably starts as well. Now that Dallow's out injured, I think Luke Shaw starts left side centre back, and I think he plays Maguire and he plays Lenny Yoro. And then Mazraoui might play right wing back with Dorgo at left wing back. I think that's how he's going to go. So, and in the midfield, I think Casemiro comes in. Casemiro stays in, and I think Ugarte probably comes in for Kobe Mainu. And then you're going to see Bruno, Garnacho and Hojlund again. I think that's the exact team he's going to play. And the majority of them players played today and played 90 minutes. And again, they got a draw at the end, but it's not good enough. Not good enough. So United move above Everton now into 14th position. And I think United's next league game is against West Ham at home, I believe. And then they've got Brentford, Chelsea, and then finish it off, I think, with Aston Villa. So yeah, 5 games left. So yeah, poor game, man. And I just want to go on a couple of the talking points, because having guys, I will get back to your messages in a bit. Having seen a few people that think that Tyler Adams should have been sent off when there was nowhere near a sending off. I think what it is, when people see the impact in terms of how whether the game's speed up or not. I think Tyler Adams, for me, won the ball, and obviously his follow through did catch Garnacho, but I think he wasn't malicious. I think he went for the ball, and again, the follow through did catch him. So for me, that wasn't a red card, and the ref got that one right, I would say. The Evan Nilsson one, I think, again, it's just poor refereeing for me. The fact that they have to go to VAR. I'm pretty sure the ref must have seen what happened. You can clearly see that Evan Nilsson slips before he goes into the challenge, and then he does catch Mazraoui on the back of the heel, the back of the calf, should I say? But for me, you can tell he clearly slipped, and I think common sense needs to prevail in this, because a lot of these refs are just too easy to go to VAR. And VAR to just say that that it's a sending off, which again, clearly it wasn't. So yeah, as I said, I think United can count themselves fortunate because, as I said, that sending off doesn't happen. They don't get back into the game. I'm not going to go through the performances because you know what, I just can't be bothered because watching this team's painful. And as I said, all eyes are on Thursday now. So Thursday is the game, first leg away to Flay at Bilbao, and we're gonna have to see what what this manager is made of, really, because it's going to be a real test in Spain. So let's go into DXR's just going some of the comments in the chat. So DXR says, who in the final for Europa? I don't even follow the competition, to be honest. For me, DXR, do you know what? I mean, the fact that United have made it this far unbeaten, I think all things would point to United getting to the final. But I just think, United's home truth will come home to bite them, I think, because let's face it, it's been a shocking campaign in terms of the league, in terms of the whole season. Europa League, obviously, they're undefeated. But I just think, because I'm predicting the team is going to play and, how they're going to play. And I don't think it's going to be good enough to beat a Flay at Bilbao. So, for me, United do have a chance. Like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, second leg at Old Trafford. But I would say, just based on how the season's been going for United, and not just only this competition, I think a Flay at Bilbao, I can see them making the final. And again, I can see them playing Tottenham in the final. I think Bodo Glimt might shock some people, but the fact that Ange just said, he wins a trophy in his second season, I think he's going to be adamant that he can live up to that, really. So I think Bodo Glimt might cause problems. I know they're missing 3 of their key players as well in the first leg, but I think Tottenham should have too much for them, and I'm going to say a Flay at Bilbao Tottenham final. Because I don't see United beating Flay at Bilbao. I don't think so. I know Oyan Sanset, I think he's out of the game, but I think Nico Williams is back, and defensively they're very good. And in attack they got players that will cause problems. So for me, I'm gonna say a Flay at Bilbao to make the final. But again, United have a chance. But the way United have been playing, and especially I think what people need to take notice of is that a lot of United's results or comebacks have been against 10 men. And I think against an organised Flay at Bilbao team, I don't know if they get over the line this time. But we'll have to wait and see. Because, look at the Lyon game. 10 men. Again, that wasn't a sending off. Another slip. We need to start talking about these things. If you look at the last two, last two games, the last couple of games United have played, where they beat Lyon in the end, but Lyon had a man sent off, which again wasn't a foul as he slipped, and United go on to win the game. And then today's game, same thing happened. Evan Nilsson slips, they go on to salvage a draw. So United have been scamming draws, really, or wins against 10 men. And for me, it's concerning because I don't believe if it's against 11 men, they don't have enough to come back into the game. So yeah, I'm gonna say a Flay at Bilbao Tottenham final. But again, all 4 teams that are left in the semi-final have a chance to win. So it could be anyone's, really. But big up. Mucky Two Shoes says, yeah, we'll ignore that one. So Latin Gamer says, yeah, Man City versus Atletico Madrid semi-final. Yeah, big up, Gamer, man. Flay at Bilbao, you mean? It's really some. So DXR says, who should have come in instead of... who should have come in instead of Amorim? Well, as I said, man, like, there's plenty of managers, As I said before, Amorim, I was looking at Roberto De Zerbi. Again, my top target has always been Zinedine Zidane. But, again, for obvious reasons, Zidane was never really likely to come in, it would be good to see Zidane back in the game, but for me, yeah, as I said, I'm done with Amorim, if I'm honest, because I don't see him taking United back. You know, and people say he needs to be backed with players, but for me, you know, I don't trust him to play the right players in the first place. So, I mean, all this backing, I'm not really buying. As I said, if he doesn't win this Europa League, Ineos have to get rid of him for me. You know, I know people might say the money's not there, but the fact that United are being linked with Matthias Cunha for 60 million, that's telling me that there's money there. So use that money to get rid of the manager, because I think this manager is a problem. You know, because this 3-4-2-1 system, I'll have to say, is pissing me off as well, because you know, I gave it time because it's what the manager wanted to play, but the fact that he picks the wrong players in the wrong positions, you know, and the fact that it wasn't my go-to formation in the first place, for me, yeah, I want a manager that just goes back to playing four at the back, you know, and playing with a number 10 or playing a 4-3-3 with three in midfield. That's what I want to see, because this formation here, I just don't trust him to play the right players. And the fact that he keeps on playing Kobe as a central midfield player in his system, again, this manager's not learning, because Kobe doesn't play well in this position. And again, he either comes off or has a poor game. And, you know, the manager has to take criticism for this, because, you know, he's just not learning. Like, it's not hard to realise that Kobe isn't really effective, you know, in the system, in that position. He needs to be playing further forward, because the kind of player that Kobe is, someone that wants to get on the ball, you know, dictate, play through the lines, just play him as a left 10, you know. And the manager just seems adamant that he's not going to do that. And the funny thing is as well, is that the manager played him in the 10, then played him in the false 9, and now has reverted to playing him back in the central midfield in this system. So again, the manager is just doing things that just don't make any sense whatsoever. And as I said, you know, all eyes lead to Thursday, and if he doesn't get a good result, then for me, end the season, he has to go, man, for sure. But yeah, big up. Just gonna get onto the boxing. So yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. beating Conor Benn by points by points in the end, unanimously, 116 to 112. And for me, what a fight. I think that's been probably one of the best fights I've seen so far this season, I would say. You know, in terms of technically, the fight wasn't great, but in terms of just being an absolute war, you know, both fighters going for it, I think it was a great fight, definitely, man. And one thing I would say, I was a bit surprised by the judges' scorecard, because, again, they kept showing the viewers' scorecard that it was a draw, you know. And then, you know, again, it just shows you that, you know, never go by the viewing public, because, again, the viewing public, you know, a lot of people have differences of opinion. But for me, the 116 to 112, you know, I think it could have been a bit harsh on Conor Benn, you know. And I think if you look after the fight, you can see Conor Benn's reaction, that he knew he had lost that fight once he heard it was 116, 112. You can see that he lost the fight, because I think he probably thought to himself it wasn't that much of a distance, but I think he could tell that he actually lost that fight. And yeah, 116, 112 again. I did think it was a bit of a gap, but what I would say, in the last two rounds, you can see that Eubank Jr., you know, was throwing more of the eye-catching punches. You know, I think he was the one that was more pressing home the advantage in them later rounds as well. You know, he was taking the judge's eye, and I think he deserved to win the fight in the end, really. You know, because he was the one that was forcing Conor Benn, you know, to basically trade with him as well. And again, it was a great fight. Two tough competitors, really. And I think the right man won in the end, definitely. And I think we end up hearing that Eubank Jr.'s actually gone to hospital with a broken jaw. You know, obviously had a massive cut on his eye as well. And again, because of the weight cut he had to do as well, I think there's reports that he's obviously Eubank Senior wanted him to go hospital. But yeah, he thoroughly deserved that win, man. And that was two fighters there that neither wanted to give an inch. Both wanted to win that fight badly. And I would go as far as saying I think both fighters probably brought out the best of each other. You know, I think Eubank probably dug as deep as he probably has ever done and proved something to himself. And I think the same for Conor Benn as well. You know, I think Conor Benn really, I think this was the fight that he wanted most out of anything. And I think Eubank Jr., I think he forced Conor Benn, you know, to come out of his comfort zone and to show what he's made of, you know. And again, man, two fighters there, man, that massive respect goes to, because the way both of them were just trading in them final rounds. You can tell both of them were gassed out. You know, I think there was a point where I think Eubank Jr. went through the ropes, and I think Ben had nothing left. It was holding him. And again, that was just two fighters, man, that just gave absolutely everything. And yeah, it was mad. I mean, do I see a? I mean, that rematch clause is in there for a reason, but I don't know if it happens. I don't know. I think the money would have to be right. I don't really know if it's a mandatory clause in there, but will Eubank Jr. want to go back down to that weight again? You know, and obviously Conor Benn did say that he wants to fight at welterweight and obviously try and get one of the main titles in that division there. So whether they fight again, if the money's right, then probably you see it happen. But I think for both of them, I don't know what they gain out of this rematch, really, because the fact that it was unanimous and it was a bit of a distance in between the result, the scorecard, I don't think Eubank Jr. really has anything to prove in that sense of going to fight Conor Benn again. Conor Benn, for me, I think everything's in his favour for the rematch, because he'd want to avenge that. And obviously, you know, he might think to himself he's let his family down. But again, he hasn't really. You know, he gave everything in that fight. But I think, yeah, whether that rematch happens, I don't know. Yeah, big up Gamer, man. So Gamer says, Eubank's brother who died helped my best friend getting healthy. Yeah, oh, really, man? I didn't know that. But yeah, man, Eubank, man, massive respect to the Eubank family, really, man. I think Chris Eubank Sr., you know, obviously having watched him when I was young, man, what a fighter he was. Obviously, his war with Nigel Benn as well. And obviously Chris Eubank Jr. as well, man. I like him a lot as well. I think in terms of his skills in the ring, you know, was there for all to see. His toughness, you know, and I think most importantly, I think he's an intelligent guy, man. You know, the way he handled that press conference as well, I think, you know, was just Chris Eubank in a nutshell, really. And he backed it up on the day as well, man. And I think Eubank Jr., man, very, very, very tough. You know, as I said, ended up breaking his jaw, you know, that cut as well. You know, Conor Benn caught him with a few punches. And again, Conor Benn, for me, I think the biggest thing I had about Conor Benn is that technically I don't think he's the greatest. But in terms of his heart, you know, and his never say die attitude, as I said, man, he done himself proud, man. And yeah, both fighters, man, lived up to the billing, man. I think that's one of the best fights, most exciting fights I've seen for a while, to be honest with you. And as I said, it was for me, it was the biggest British fight, I would say. I think that's going to take some topping, you know. And I would love there to be a rematch, but again, I don't think it's just like Gamer said. I don't know if it's going to happen, you know, unless the money's right. Yeah, big up to Lit Talk, man. Big up. Yeah, but the thing is, Eubank. The thing is, I'm not really sure why people are surprised, really, because Eubank Senior was always going to be there. You know, like I had no doubt that Eubank Senior wasn't going to be there because, again, he's fighting his son. You know, Conor Benn's going to be there with Nigel Benn, and the fact that Eubank Senior turned up wasn't a surprise. He was always going to be there to back his son, you know. And I think the whole build up to that, you know, when he got out the car, and then obviously Eubank Junior greeted him. You know, that was always going to happen, man. I wasn't surprised by that. You know, I would have been more surprised if his dad didn't turn up. You know, but the fact that his dad didn't want him to fight, you could see why. But the fact that he was there, you know, was always going to happen for me, and I had no worries about that whatsoever. You know, and yeah, he got out the car like he was WWE. Yeah, so yeah, like I thought that was Roman Reigns getting out there, to be honest with you. But yeah, the way he got out there, man, it was it was a good public stunt, put it that way, because he was always going to be there, man. But yeah, big up to Eubank Junior, Eubank Senior, Conor and Nigel Benn, man, because they put on a great spectacle, really, as a family, man. So, 1-0 Tottenham, Dominic Solanke, 1-0 Tottenham. One sec, guys. 1-0 Tottenham, Dominic Solanke, spoiling the party. I mean, I think, to be fair, Liverpool need a point anyway to secure that league title, but a spanner in the works, man. Dominic Solanke. Oh, City have scored, have they, Gamer? Who scored the goal? Mamouche. Great header from Solanke. Let me see this header. Oh, Gravenberch lost his man, I think. Was it Gravenberch? No. Oh, zonal marking, looks like. Gravenberch with a zonal marking, and then Solanke's got the run on him. Yeah, great header. And Solanke against his former club as well. Against his former club. Mad. So City 1-0 up, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay. Yeah, City will go through to the to the final against Palace. I didn't even see the Palace game, but I heard Palace played very well yesterday. And guys, I told you already, man. Some of the players that I've been doing my latest streams on, who I think United should be targeting. Oh, Rico Lewis scored. Okay. I spoke about Eze. You know, I'm not sure if did Eze bag 2 yesterday. I'm not too sure, but Eze's been showing some form as of late, and again, he's a player that United need to be targeting. Yeah, Gamer, you're right, bro. If Man United are serious, they'll go for Eze. I know there's talk about Cunha. I would want Cunha or Eze, but I'm not quite sure why Eze's name hasn't really been mentioned alongside the likes of Cunha. Because for me, Eze's a top player, man, and he's primed to go to the next level. And 1 minute. And again, Carlos Baleba. Guys, I told you about Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba, as I said, man, he's primed to be one of the top midfielders in Europe for me. And I don't see him staying at Brighton next season. So someone has to come in for him, you know. At least test Brighton's resolve, you know, because I know some of my chat said the other day that Baleba's going to cost 100 mil. And for me, I don't think they're going to ask for 100 mil. And again, negotiations is where it comes into. You know, you could stagger the payments over a few seasons. So yeah. And again, Anton Semenyo, I mentioned yesterday as well. Semenyo getting the goal, great finish. And again, I think Semenyo, for me, you know, he's not the most eye-catching player, you know, but I think in terms of what the Premier League is about, you know, he's ideal for that in terms of the pace and strength, you know. And again, he's going to be someone. He's going to be someone that will be in demand at the end of the season, you know. So, okay. Also, Ismail Assar scored twice. Yeah, do you know what? Ismail Assar, man, another one. He's another player that, you know, has gone under the radar. And when they lost Michael Elise, you know, you'd have thought, who would they bring in to replace him? And Ismail Assar and Eze together on the flanks, and with Mateta up top, that's a dangerous front three there. I'm telling you. And again, this is where scouting comes into it, you know. And yeah, so I think Palace City final. I think Nottingham Forest will have their eyes on top 4 or top 5, should I say? I think their focus will be on that, and the fact they're playing City in the semi-final, you know, I think City go on to win that. But guys, yeah, if you like my stream, make sure you smash that like button, guys, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I think I'm only, what, just over 30 short of reaching 1K. So yeah, if you do like my stream, okay, it's just one press of the button. And then I say make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. And guys, give me your questions as well. Give me your questions. So yeah, so Gamer says Liverpool losing. Yeah, that's mad. Yeah, they're 1-0 down, but again, Liverpool at Anfield, you'd expect them to come back. And again, they only need a point to secure the title. Here comes a goal now. 1-1, as I said. Yep, 1-1 as we speak. Is he offside? He's offside. Luis Diaz, offside. Yeah, offside. But as I said, I'm expecting Liverpool to come back because this is what Liverpool do, especially at Anfield as well. And the crowd obviously will be expecting to be lifting the trophy today, for sure. But yeah, Newcastle obviously winning 3-0 yesterday. Was it 3-0 or 3-1? Yeah, 3-0 against Ipswich. Yeah, it's 3-0 against Ipswich to condemn Ipswich to the Championship. And again, a certain Liam Delap, you know, his clause of 30 million now is now active. And you know what? I think not just Man United, I think there's going to be possibly Tottenham will be looking at him, I think. I think he'd be a very good player for Tottenham. You know, obviously he's been talking about Chelsea. I think Newcastle would do well to get a Liam Delap as well. You know, because having Delap and Isak as a front two, and you can offload Callum Wilson, I think would be good. Even though I think Newcastle, as I said to Gamer before, Newcastle need to be looking at trying to do a double deal for, you know, Shaw and Hobbs, Mbeumo and Visser. You know what I mean? Because I think if they got Mbeumo and Visser, oh wait, the goal's been given. Oh, sorry, the goal's been given. The goal's been given. So Liverpool 1-1. Mad. 1-1. Luis Diaz. Yeah, the goal's been given. So, yeah, so I think Newcastle need to go for Newcastle need to go and get Shaw and Hobbs, Visser and Mbeumo. And if they got Visser and Mbeumo to add to the front line they've got already, I'm telling you now, that is going to be potent. And again, that's going to cost a bit of money. But I think, you know, if Newcastle was able to part with, I don't know, about 80 million, I would say, to get both players, you know, I think Brentford might want slightly more. But I think 80 million for both players, you know, that is going to make them title contenders for me. Because to have a front line of Mbeumo, Isak, Visser, and then you got Gordon and Barnes, that'll be and Jacob Murphy. So let's not forget about Jacob Murphy. He had a very good season. Yeah, that'll be dangerous, you know. So Up the Liverpool says, Daddy, chill. I'm chilled, man. Listen, you guys are gonna win the league this season. But again, let's see what you do next season, because the way PSG beat you in that Champions League, there's a long way to go, man. But definitely Liverpool have deserved the title this season. There's no doubt about that. And again, Luis Diaz just scored, so they're back into the fold now of securing that title for sure. And I think they will go on to secure it definitely in this game. I don't see Tottenham winning the game, but yeah, big up the Liverpool, man. So yeah, so just going back to Newcastle, 3-0. Isak from the penalty spot. I think Dan Burn, and then is it Will Osula? I think he got the third one as well. But again, yeah, Newcastle on course for them Champions League spots. Again, it's still a long way to go, really, man, because there's some tough games coming up. And guys, I know I've said this already to you guys, but don't count out Arsenal finishing in second place, because, as I said already, Arsenal's next to 2-1 offside. Cody Gakpo. Liverpool are turning it on now. Yeah, 2-1 offside. Offside, yeah. So yeah, don't count out Arsenal finishing in the top two, because Arsenal's next 3 league games, I believe, are Bournemouth at home. And again, Bournemouth are going to be, I'd say, pissed off that they got a draw today. And I think they might come out all guns blazing against Arsenal. And again, Arsenal are going to go with a much changed team, you would believe, because the Champions League semi-final is either side of that. And their next game after that, I think, is Liverpool. And again, you would hope that if Liverpool don't win today and they've still got to secure the title, it could be against Arsenal, which would be mad, at Anfield as well. And then I believe they've got Newcastle after that as well. So, I think Liverpool, Arsenal's next 3 games are going to be crucial for their season, because, again, the league title's wrapped up, but, the Champions League is in there as well. So they're gonna want to put on at least a performance in both them games, and at least make it respectable if they don't go through to the Champions League and secure a second place. So it's going to be all for Liverpool all for Arsenal, sorry, to do. And I won't count them being in second place. It's not a given for me. So City game is on ITV. Okay, yeah, I might turn to that in a minute, to be fair, because yeah, this game actually at the moment, it's not really doing too much for me at the moment, but I think Liverpool will come on strong, definitely. So, but yeah, what other games? Obviously, Wolves winning 3-0 yesterday against Leicester City, and yeah, obviously Jamie Vardy's obviously leaving at the end of the season. What a career he's had. I think he's only 2 short of 200 Premier League goals as well for Leicester. And I think there was talk about Man United going in for him, which is a complete load of nonsense, But yeah, no, Jamie Vardy missed a penalty yesterday. Wolves, again, Matthias Cunha, talk of the town, really. And yeah, I mean, a goal and 2 assists, and again, you've got one of the best players in the league, for sure, in Matthias Cunha. And what he's doing at Wolves, again, is mad. And yeah, he'll definitely be going. Obviously, the front runners are Man United. But for me, I wouldn't be surprised if a surprise team comes in for Cunha and offers him Champions League football and a wage that he can't turn down. Because I know Man United are in the driver's seat right now, but anything can change. Because he's someone that should be playing Champions League football. And I know unless he's got his heart set on Man United and it's no one else but Man United, then fair enough. He's a better man than me at the moment, because I don't believe United win Europa to get in Champions League. If they do, it's a bonus, really. But I think if any other team comes in for Cunha that can offer him Champions League football, it'll be interesting to see if he actually turns them down, because, as I said, he's someone that should be playing Champions League football with the quality that he has. And yeah, great goal yesterday, composure, and then these 2. Oh my God, 2-1. What a strike! Alexis McAllister, what a strike! Yeah, that's the title done. That's the title done. What a strike, left foot strike. Yeah, great strike, Alexis McAllister. Bloody hell. Yeah, that's the title done, you would have to say. I don't see Tottenham coming back into this, but they got bigger things to think about. Europa League coming up. But yeah, yeah, sorry. So yeah, Matthias Cunha, 2 assists and 1 goal, and a comfortable victory in the end. And guys, as well, I think a lot of credit has to go to Strand Larsen. When Strand Larsen have come to the league, obviously come from Celta Vigo. I think many people wouldn't have really known about Strand Larsen. And to be fair, he's come in and probably shocked a lot of people, because I think in terms of his conversion rate, I think his conversion rate might be something like 4th in the league or something like that for Wolves. And he's come in, and he scored a few goals. I think he scored 6 in his last 5. And he's produced some good form. And again, I think a lot of credit has to go to Wolves, man, for bringing him in, because he is relatively unknown. And again, in an era where there isn't too many strikers, he's proven what a find he is, really. Let's be honest. And he deserves a lot of credit, man. 6 in 5 is no mean feat for someone playing for Wolves, you know. And there's still a few games to go to the end of the season, you know. And I think he could get more. I think their next league game, actually, Wolves, is away to Man City. And again, Man City will need to win that game to keep up their hopes of the top 5 for sure. So Gamer says, if Newcastle or City or Forest won all last games, then they'll get second. Yeah, listen, as I said, I think personally, you know, again, Arsenal are in the driving seat because they're what? I think they're 6 points ahead of City. I think they're 7 ahead of Newcastle, and I think the same for Nottingham Forest, I believe. And again, you know, if by the time Arsenal play Bournemouth, if City win their league game, which I think is against Wolves, I think it might be, then Arsenal could be only 3 points ahead of City. So again, it's going to be interesting, and the pressure's going to be on. So yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion that Arsenal finish in second, you know, for me. So Gamer says, I'd rather watch this City versus Forest game. That Liverpool game has nothing to it. It's good for Liverpool fans. Yeah, you listen. I hear you. I hear you. Liverpool are going to win the game, like, or they're going to get the point, you know, for sure. But as I said, I think, yeah, I think it's just more the excitement while I'm watching it, really. Because, you know, anything could happen. Ooh, Solanke's proven a threat in the air, man. You know. But as I said, yeah, I think this season's obviously coming to a close, you know, and you know, I don't think it's been a great season, if I'm honest. I think in terms of quality wise, I think it's been poor. You know, excitement wise, yeah. You know, you got a few teams going for the same places. I think that's what's made this Premier League a bit more exciting. But in terms of the quality, I think the quality's been shocking, you know. And again, a lot of it's probably been proved in the Champions League, really. You know, I think if you look at Liverpool, for instance, top of the league by a mile. But when they came up against one of the top oppositions in Europe in PSG showed them, you know, how to play, really. Let's be honest. Yeah, man, it's yeah, it's a big eye opener, put it that way, for the Premier League. And again, I think quality wise, you know, I don't really see it improving, because let's face it, there isn't too many quality players in football no more. And I think all the real quality players, you know, are probably going to go to your Barcelona's, Real Madrid's. So the quality of the league could get even worse next season, because I don't really know, unless they're still playing in the Premier League, they might move into other teams. I don't really know what other top players will be coming to this league, you know, and that's the truth. Big up to Hat ASMR says, hi, it's 6 here, so I got to watch full time at sunset. Anyways, how's your day? Yeah, big up, man. Big up for coming on. You know, just obviously discussing the Man United getting the last minute winner, or last couple minute winner against draw, sorry, against Bournemouth, 10-men Bournemouth, and yeah, it was a poor game, really. You know, nothing, like, again, so many Man United games I've been watching this season have been poor, and they get a last gasp equaliser. But to be honest, all eyes are on Thursday for this Europa League, and this is where Amorim now needs to get over the line. You know, and if United can get come away from the San Mames, you know, with a draw, going into that second leg, you know, obviously they're going to fancy their chances. But I think if United come away from them with anything but a win, or if anything, with a loss, should I say, I think they're going to have it all to do in this second leg, because I I know Rasmus got a goal today, but personally, I don't think United have enough in their attack to do anything to flay Bilbao, if I'm honest, you know. But obviously the home crowd will obviously be forcing them to get over the line. But again, if they're behind in this first leg, you know, I think it's going to be too much for them to do. Hat ASR says, yep, I genuinely thought that was offside and the red card wasn't justified, but the foul in the first half was definitely a red. Yeah, big up yourself, Hat ASMR. For me, the Tyler Adams tackle on Garnacho wasn't a red card, because if you actually check it, he actually wins the ball first, and then it's the follow through, you know. And again, you can't really control your follow through. The fact that he won the ball first was enough for me, and again, I think if it was a more of a physically imposing player, you know, it wouldn't have looked as worse. I think because Alejandro Garnacho is built like a pepperoni, let's be honest, you know, it looks a lot worse than it did. So I don't think it was a foul on Garnacho. I think Garnacho's, you know, isn't strong really anyway, and it looked worse than it was. And again, when you're watching it in slow motion, you know, I think, you know, you can pick out things from there that look even worse. But for me, it wasn't a red card. The one, the Evan Nilsson one, wasn't a red card either. You know, because if you look at it as well, he actually slips, and then his trailing leg actually does catch Mazraoui, but he slips, and I think common sense has to be brought into it, which obviously wasn't. You know, I think if you're looking at it, the Tyler Adams one, you could probably say was more of a red card than the Evan Nilsson one, but obviously the referee got it the wrong way around. You might say, but for me, neither one was a red card in my opinion. And again, 9 minutes added time as well. That played a factor into Bournemouth not securing the game. But again, these things happen, you know, so we'll have to wait and see. But guys, big up yourself for coming on each and every time. Big up Reluctant Gamer. Big up each and every time. Before we wrap, just going to read one more question from Hat ASMR. So he says, I'm glad we drew because now the manager knows who to pick for Bilbao. And spoiler, it's definitely not Luke Shaw or Mount. I personally wouldn't. Yeah, big up Hat ASMR. What I would say, you know, the team that he played today is going to be the majority of the team that he's going to play on Thursday. I think you're probably looking at one or two changes, but this is the team I think he's going to play, and I think I'll get this spot on as well. He's going to play Onana in goal. It's going to be a back three of Lenny Yoro on the right. 3-1, Cody Gakpo. Yeah, that's it. Game over, guys. Game over for Tottenham. Liverpool win the league. So it's going to be Onana in goal. I think he's going to play a back three of what he played today in Luke Shaw, left side centre-back, Harry Maguire, and then right side centre-back, Lenny Yoro. The two wing-backs, he's going to play Mazraoui right wing-back. He's going to play Patrick Dorgu left wing-back. I believe he's going to play Casemiro and Ugarte in the midfield, especially because they're away from home. And he's going to want Ugarte's legs to get around the pitch and to win the ball back. And obviously you've got Casemiro's experience. And then the front three, again, he's going to play the same front three of Garnacho on the right, Bruno on the left, and then Rasmus Hojlund. So that's the exact team I think he's going to play. And again, quote me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think he's gonna play that exact team. I think Kobe will be on the bench. I think Luke Shaw will start, because the only other player that I can see playing if Luke Shaw doesn't play is Victor Lindelof. And then unless he's going to play Lenny Yoro left side centre-back and then Lindelof right side centre-back, I think that'll be the exact team he's going to play. Because obviously Dallow's out injured now. So I think that's the exact team he's going to play. Yeah. So Hat and someone says, okay, have a good day, mate. And I agree with the lineup. And even as a United fan, yeah, listen, man. Arsenal will never win this title. Let's be honest. And Champions League, again, I don't see them going through against PSG, for sure. But guys, big up yourself anyway. As I said, big up to Reluctant Gamer each and every time. big up to Hat ASMR for the questions as well. And also big up to everyone else that put their questions in. Big up to Lit Talk. And guys, as I said, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do. And again, if you do like my content, make sure you smash that like button. Again, it helps the channel to reach more people. As I said, I'm only a few short, guys, of 1K. And as I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel at GavGoesIn on YouTube. And I'm going to catch you guys possibly on Tuesday. I'm not streaming tomorrow as I'm busy tomorrow. But yeah, possibly catch you guys on Tuesday. And again, guys, all eyes on Champions League. You know, PSG, Arsenal is probably going to be the standout game. Again, Barca and Inter. So I'm going to do my match predictions for that. Do you know what? I might do that tomorrow. I'll see if I've got time, but it's unlikely. Or I might do it early on Tuesday. So yeah, make sure you keep your notifications on. So I'll either do that tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, Tuesday. But again, guys, all eyes are on Tuesday, Champions League. And then Thursday, Man United against Athletic Bilbao, first leg. And Ruben Amorim, for me, has to earn his money. And we will definitely be there. Yeah, big up ASMR. But yeah, guys, big up for coming on. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. And I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.